Good morning. Today we are making our video for packet number 10. It is due this Friday. Okay, so we need to be working on this. If you turn it in by Wednesday, you will have the opportunity to fix up any pages that you need to fix up. Usually it's the weekend, but since it's due on a Friday, I will correct and hand back by Wednesday. After Wednesday, you turn it in, that's what you get. All right, our first page says a machine at a local factory has 3 gears. One gear must be replaced every 3 months, another every 5 months, and the third every 6 months. All the gears were just replaced in September of 2016. In what month and year will all 3 gears need to be replaced at the same time? So I'm going to look at 2016. I need to move over 2016, starting in September. Then I have October, November, December. Then in 2017, I have September, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. And then I have 2018. I'm not going to fill those out yet because I'm not sure if I need to. What you're going to do is you are going to say, for every 3 months, I'm going to circle it. So we know in September it was replaced. So then 3 months after that would be December. 3 months after that would be March. Then June. Then September. Then December. So now I'm going to say, all right, for every 5 months, I'm going to draw a line under it. So I know it was replaced in September. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, now I need to do every 6 months for that third one. So I know it was replaced in September. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Have I gotten any month where all 3 were on it? All 3. Is there any month that's circled, underlined, and crossed off? So far. So far, there's not. So that means, I need to go farther. I need to do 2018. And I need to keep doing my pattern until I get to a month that has all 3 circled, underlined, and crossed off. That's the next time they're all going to be replaced in the same month. So follow that pattern. You might have to go into 2019. Okay, keep doing the pattern until you get to another month that was like this, where it's circled, crossed off, and underlined, all in the same month. Okay, so you're just going to follow that pattern. And that's why your answer makes sense. You're showing the patterns. All right, next page. Keith baked muffins and gave 3/4 of them to Peter. Peter then gave away a dozen of the muffins. Peter ended up with 6 muffins. How many muffins did Keith bake? I like my pictures. So I'm going to say, here's all my muffins that Keith baked. He gave 3/4 of them to Peter. How am I going to want to break up my bar, Jimena? Into 4s. He gave 3/4 of them away. Gave away. Peter then gave away a dozen of the muffins. Peter ended up with 6 muffins left. how many muffins did Keith bake? So Peter has those 3 sections. He gave away a dozen of them, and he keeps 6. So how many muffins did Peter end up giving? Amanda?
You could add the dozen with the 6 muffins that he got.
And how many would that be?
18.
Yeah. So what Keith ended up giving away to Peter was 18 muffins, because a dozen is 12. Peter was able to give away 12 and keep 6. So that's 18. So Peter had gotten 18 muffins, and Keith kept that last section. Can we figure out how many muffins Keith made all together? How could we do that, Connor? By what? Why did you divide 18 by 6? But I want you to think about this. Why are we dividing it by 6? And anywhere in there, was there a 6? You said 18 and there's 3 4s. Eighteen does not divide by 4. How many sections do we have here that are 18? We're going to divide it by 3 because there are 3 sections that go into 18. That's going to tell us how many is in each individual section. So we would do 18 divided by 3. So you were on the right track. We just weren't quite following with the logic. That's going to tell you how many are in these 3 sections. How do we figure out how much is in that last section? These are all equal sections. So whatever is in this section is the same number that's in this section, is the same number in this section, is the same number in this section. What do we have to do to know how much Keith made all together? Yeah, we have to add them all up then. And that'll tell us our total amount. Our next page is our 5-card challenge. So we know how to do the 5-card challenge. Making sure that when we're doing our 5-card challenge, we do one equation to equal something. 7 plus 1 plus 2 equals 10. We don't want to be doing different math. Some of us are still having a hard time putting it as one equation. We want it to be one equation with one equal sign. I don't want to try to follow along with your math. One equation for it. Does that make sense? Callie? Does that make sense? Okay. Equaling to 5. Next page is our pattern page, I believe. Yep. So for our pattern, Math 6 is looking at the 7th figure in the pattern. How many blocks will be in the outermost layer? So how many blocks and what color? Now I had somebody say, do I have to fill the table in? And I said, well, that's what I did to find the pattern. And they said, oh, I actually drew the pictures. And that's fine. I'm looking for your complete answer. I need to see how many blocks are going to be on the outside and what color it's going to be. So if you do the picture where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you do a picture for 6 and then a picture for 7, and you're able to come up with it, you'll get credit for it. You don't quite have to do all of that work because we can follow the patterns to know. So let's fill in our table together for what we do know. How many yellows are in the first figure? How many pink?
0,
How many blue?
0,
How many red?
0,
How many total?
1,
How many yellows are in two? How many pink?
8,
How many blue?
0,
How many red?
0,
How many total? How many yellows in three?
1,
Pink,
8,
blue,
16,
red,
0,
total.
24.
I heard 24 and I heard 25.
It's 25.
I know it's gonna be 25 because I know the pattern. So I know this is gonna be a 25. Because there is a pattern with my favorite numbers. Figure 4, how many yellow?
1,
How many pink?
8,
How many blue?
16,
How many red?
1,
How many total? Let's look at number 5. How many yellow? 33, because we have to count all the yellow. We're counting the inside and all on the outside. How many pink? How many blue? How many red? How many total? So this is what we know from what is shown to us. If you got different numbers, we need to recognize that we have to slow down with our counting. Let's see what we can fill in from what we know. Every fourth time, the number's gonna jump up, or it's gonna be the outside number, right? So, for our yellow, I have one yellow filled in here. How many more can I fill in as 33? There should be 4 altogether, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So if that yellow isn't jumping up to change in the 7th row, is that gonna be on the outside? No, because it only jumps up when that yellow is on the outside. So in figure 5, when the yellow was on the outside is when the number jumped up. So I know it's not gonna be yellow. Let's look at our pink. Do we know what comes next for the pink? Because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 already listed. Do we know what's gonna be in the next section? Nope, we don't know that one yet, so we're gonna skip it right now. Let's look at our blue. Can I fill in any numbers for blue? Okay. Yeah, I can add one more because I need 4 of the same number. Can I add any more to my red? I could add 2 more to the red. Can I find my pattern for my total blocks? Who remembers what kind are my favorite numbers? Perfect squares. If I look at 1, 9, 25, 49, 81, what do you notice about them? Layla? You gotta say it louder. They're skip counting. What is skip counting? Our perfect squares are going up. 1 squared is 1. 3 squared is 9. 5 squared is 25. 7 squared is 49. 9 squared is 81. So I'm skipping with my odd numbers. Perfect square of odd numbers goes in for my total. So what would my next number be that I'm gonna fill in? It would be 11 squared. What is 11 squared? 21. You were close. What could I fill in next? Because I want to go all the way to my 7th figure. 13 squared. What is 13 squared? 169. From this now, is there a number that we would be able to fill in? Knowing what we now know about our patterns, can you figure out what the pink would be. Zelda, I didn't ask for an answer. My question was, can you figure it out? How? You take your total number and you're going to subtract out the 3 that we know, and that's going to give us our missing number, which is also going to be right here. So, is my pink going to be on the outside? Why not, Campbell? You're right, it's not, but why not?
I don't know, I just picked one.
Lucky guess.
Yeah.
Who can tell me for a fact? Is it going to be on the outside?
Wait, this one?
Is the pink going to be on the outside?
Uh,
What did I talk about with the yellow?
the yellow goes back. It's not gonna be that same.
Well, how do you know? How did we know the yellow wasn't going to be on the outside? Lilia? Yeah, well, the 6th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, we know yellow is on the outside for the 5th because that's when our number jumped up. So is our number jumping up on the 7th figure? No, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that 7th figure, it's still going to be having other colors put on the outside of it. Is our red jumping up on the 7th figure? We go from the 6th to the 7th. Is it jumping up to a new number? Is the red jumping up, going from the 6th figure to the 7th figure?
It's gonna be outside and 6 figures. It's not gonna be outside.
The red was on the outside for the 4th, and it will be on the outside for the 8th, but it's the same number going from the 6th to the 7th. So it is not on the outside.
It's gonna be outside on 6.
Is it?
What?
The same. Are you talking the red?
Yeah, the red's gonna be outside because, what's this?
The red's on the outside for the 3rd, and then it's inside because there's yellow, and then on the 6th there's going to be blue added on, and then on the 7th there's going to be red added on.
Oh, I know, it's gonna be. Oh, so
So you want to look to see which color jumps up to the next number. That's going to be the next outside color. Does that make sense?
So do we just have to say?
Then you have to figure out how many blocks it's going to be.
We just have to do the same thing.
But you have to remember that 16 of those blocks are on the inside. We can't forget these 16 blocks are going to be on the inside as we're building up. So we can't count those 16 blocks for the outside outermost layer.
Exactly. So, or it would just be.
So it's not just going to be the number that you put in there.
We have to add
You don't add them. Yeah, we need to take those 16 away.
Okay, so is this?
What? That's right here. All right, let's look at our next page. It is our shapes and areas. Bless you. So the area of the figure is that full rectangle. This is our figure. How do we find the area of a rectangle? Somebody tell me, how do we find the area of a rectangle, Madison? Length times width. Length times width. So that's our full figure. So that answer goes here. Tell me what you multiplied together, how you found it. Now we want the area of our shaded region. What shape is our shaded region? The triangle. How do we find the area of a triangle? There's one area for a triangle. 360 is a circle. We're not talking circles. That's a quadrilateral too, which is a circle.
No, it's.
We're talking triangles. 1/2
I know.
of the base times the height. So our base is the bottom of that triangle. That is our base. The height is how far up. The height is how far up it goes. So this is the height of our triangle from the tip straight down to the base, which is this amount. So we want to multiply our base times our height and then divide it by 2. You girls are talking degrees. We're not talking degrees. We're talking area.
I thought you said.
360 is how many degrees are in a circle. 360 how many degrees are in a quadrilateral. We're not talking about degrees. We're talking area.
I was like, we never talked about degrees.
So we're looking at the area of the shaded region. We're not looking at the degrees of the angles. Area of the shaded region. Okay. Next page. We have to draw a net of our triangular prism. That's what all classes have to do, and that's, we don't need to do an answer because we don't have a question for Math 6. We just have to do the all classes. So remember, we're going to cut open our triangular prism, lay the sides flat. So I'm going to have 3 long sides and 2 end triangles. Make sure you number them correctly. Paying attention to the sides are 10, but the base of our triangle is 12. That base is 12. So pay attention that you are labeling correctly. They are not all 3 sides 10. It's the height here that is an 8. So the height of our triangle is 8. The 2 sides going up are 10. The base of that triangle is a 12. And where it says X, we don't know what the amount is, so we label it as an X on our net. Next page, we have some numbers that we can fill in to make it a little easier. And we have all of our, you might have remembered all of the formulas from before. We're going to go through our formulas. For our triangular or our rectangular prism, the formula is length times width times height. And Mr. Schultz is giving us a base length of 3 and a length of 9 and a width of 3. So all you have to do is find the height. That would equal 216 volume. For our cube, we can do length times width times height, or we could say side cubed because it's squares. All the sides have to be the exact same length. So what number can we multiply by itself 3 times to get 1,331? So you would have to see, I'm guessing that's going to be way too big.
Wait, so you said 35,000.
You want to find what number that you multiply by itself 3 times is going to equal 1,331. Then we have our triangular prism is length times width times height divided by 2. And he's giving us a width of 7 and a height of 2. For our pyramid, it's length times width times height divided by 3, giving us a length of 9 and a height of 3.
Wait, but for the second one, that doesn't work because if you do.
There is a number that works. You have to find it.
But 6 is too small and 7 is too big.
7 is not too big. 7 times 7 is 49. 49 times 7 is not bigger than 1,331.
Oh, it's 1,000. I thought it was 331.
No, it's 1,331.
Don't-
The formula for our cylinder is pi r squared times the height, and he's giving us a radius of 1. For a cone, it's pi r squared height divided by 3, and he's giving us a height of 9. And for our sphere, it is 4 divided by 3 times pi r cubed. Remember, for Math 6, we only have to do 2 of them. You can challenge yourself to do more, but you do not have to. You have to do at least 2 of them. And for our last page, it is a graphing page where we are going to create a bar graph or a line graph for our data that we are given. We just went over those bar graphs and line graphs in our objective last week. What important things do we need to remember to have when we create a graph, Layla? Labels. We need correct labeling. So if we have our graph looking like this, and I put my numbers going up, and I put injuries down here, I need to label them. What am I putting on the bottom? What am I putting on that y-axis? Put your labels. Labels are important. Any questions on that? So you will get it turned back to you to fix up if you do not put your labels, you don't have your numbers, if you don't have what the different injuries are, and your bars, or I would do it as a bar graph. It's just the easiest way. All right, go ahead and put your math packet away. If you still have questions trying to figure it out, see me one-on-one. If you are watching this from home, I hope you are well. Hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.